Ladies and gents, welcome to UX, and this is the movie Disney deleted, Togo, by channel Fat Files. Yes, it's a Fat Files video. Yeah, okay. What do you mean deleted? How do you delete a movie? Isn't there a physical copy out there somewhere? I'm guessing it's an old movie. So I don't know, Pepperbox first. Oh, okay, that's the app. Yeah, so isn't that like a physical movie that you can have disc or something? So I'm gonna guess it's an old movie, otherwise why would they delete it? So Disney is doing that shit. Disney doesn't have a great track record recently, let's just say, especially the way they are functioning, the ideologies and politics they seem to push. I mean, you can have all the politics you want, but like you have to be very careful how you implement it and how you shove down people's throat. People aren't gonna like that shit. So I don't know. Like you should make entertainment, not political statements, right? So this is in a way a political statement. I guess it's old. I guess it's not as progressive as today's world, but it's old, right? Yeah, old shit is not good. Like to the moon, Alice, that shit is still old. It's a famous thing people know of, right? So you can't just like erase history. It is what it is. History is what history is, right? That's always fun.
Surgery, all I wanted to do was take my pain pills and watch my favorite live action Disney movie. But no, Disney had to go and make it illegal. Today we're talking about Togo. What is Togo? Togo was a dog back in 1925 that saved a bunch of kids' lives, and then the newspapers gave all of the credit to another dog by the name of Balto, and Balto ends up getting a statue in New York City.
Doesn't really seem fair.
And then in 1995, Steven Spielberg and Kevin Bacon came out with an animated movie that wasn't even slightly historically accurate, also giving Balto all of the credit.
Okay, well now you're just being a dick.
But then in 2019, something incredible happened. Disney came out with a live-action movie that was actually fairly historically accurate that corrected the record and gave Togo the credit that he deserved. And if that wasn't cool enough, it starred Willem Dafoe in a dope-ass jacket, and the dog that played Togo was actually the real Togo's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson. It was fantastic. It was literally one of my favorite movies ever. And then in September of 2024, Disney comes out of left field and just does the Thanos snap and just deletes it.
Okay, fuck you. What? It's not an old movie. What? I thought it would be something. Oh no! If William Dafoe's in this, like, isn't that like? I don't know how these things work. I get it. You own the movie, but don't you owe something to the people who starred in it? It's not as simple as like, oh, you were paid, so it doesn't matter. Isn't there some legal element behind it? Like, okay, actors deserve their work to be out there. Just because you're a producer doesn't mean you can just say like, oh, I'm gonna keep this for myself. Money is not enough. Like, okay, they need to be compensated, so actors got compensated. But they did that so people would see it. Isn't there a legal element that like you Disney can't just delete it? What about all the work that Willem Dafoe did? This is just insane, man. How can they do this shit?
From history. It's not a thing anymore. You can't watch it. And we're gonna get into all of it right after word from our sponsor.
Delete me. So good news, this works well on rabbits.
Yeah, it's 4570 government.
Why do they call it government?
Because nobody fucks like the government.
Oh. Well, I'm gonna teach these rabbits about taxes.
I love that woman. This video is brought to you by Delete Me. All right, here's the deal. Super simple, straightforward business model. You give them money, they turn around and make sure that data brokers on the internet aren't selling your personal information. What does that even mean? Okay, here's the entire...
Yeah, only thing I know about 4570 is a Bros rifle, right? From Fallout. But yeah, why is it called government? Because like it's like military thing, like how M16, what was it? M16? Yeah, M16 is like military version, but if you want like commercial version, that's the other one. Oh, ER15, right? It's the same thing, but it's like military, not military. That's the case. I'm guessing that's the same thing like government. So this ammo is only for military.
Internet and every free service on the planet inside of a nutshell, okay? There's a saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. What that means is pretty much anything on the internet that you use, that's a service, whether that be Google, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of it, okay? It's all an app. So one of two things is happening. They're either gonna feed you ads, and that's how that company makes money since their service is free, or they're gonna collect your personal information, then turn around and sell it to data brokers on the internet, and then they're gonna turn around and sell it to whoever buys it, and next thing you know, you're getting 17,000 robocalls every single day. And that's where Delete Me comes in. They will look through all the major data brokers and find the ones that are selling your personal information and submit opt-out requests on your behalf, and then they are legally obligated to comply. And then they'll continue to monitor these data brokers.
Okay, I don't know why I'm reacting to an ad. When it comes to Google, it's not that simple, is it? Because Google themselves are the service themselves, right? So they don't have to sell to anyone. They have to sell to themselves because most people will just Google things. So they can just take your personal data and use it for themselves. So when you Google shit, they just give you their own service and their own sponsored thing. So Amazon sponsors them, Amazon gives them the money, and they realize what you want, and they just feed you that in the first results.
And if they get your information again, Delete Me will submit an opt-out request again. Basically, you're paying Delete Me to get rid of all the downsides of all of the free stuff on the internet, which I think is absolutely worth it. If you want to check them out, I'll have a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. Okay, here's the deal. In 1925, in a very remote town way up in Alaska called Nome, there's an outbreak of diphtheria. Now, diphtheria has a very high mortality rate for kids. It's literally called the children's plague. And if they don't get an antitoxin, a lot of these kids are going to end up dying. And to make things worse, it's winter, it's negative 50 degrees outside, and the only way to get this antitoxin to these kids is to go to the nearest major city 674 miles away with dog sled teams.
Yeah, and people are balls to say they don't like science. Too many diseases that are insane when it comes to like survival rate, and they have enough like vaccines and shit that you're protected, and people are like, oh, who needs science? Really?
And then bring it all the way back to Nome. And according to the 1995 animated movie, all of it was done by a half dog, half wolf by the name of Balto, who was accompanied by his accomplice that was a talking goose, which obviously that's all nonsense. The only thing realistic about that movie was there was in fact a diphtheria outbreak in 1925, and there was in fact a dog that was named Balto, but he was not half wolf. He was 100% Siberian Husky. And he was bred by a guy by the name of Leonard Seppala, who's credited with actually being the first dude to bring Siberian Huskies over to America. And Leonard Seppala is a badass in the world of dog sleds, okay? This guy has like one of the best dog sled teams. He's one of the best breeders. At one point, he was in the Winter Olympics. He's winning competitions. He's like top of his game. He is one of the legends of dog sledding. And he actually ended up selling Balto to a guy by the name of Gunnar Kaysen because Balto wasn't good enough to make it onto his sled team. He was too slow. The lead dog in his sled team for almost a decade was a dog by the name of Togo. Togo was a very sick puppy. He was the only puppy in his litter. And because he was so sick, Seppala's wife actually, kept the dog in the house, didn't let him go out in the kennel, and kind of babied this dog. So once this dog was in better health, he was kind of spoiled, and he was a troublemaker, and he was a little bit rebellious, and Seppala just didn't really like him because he wouldn't ever listen. He was untrainable, and because of that, Seppala ends up selling him to be a pet for somebody else. And then one day, Togo, about 2 weeks after being a house pet, jumps through the kitchen window and runs back to Seppala's house and goes back to the kennel. At which point, Seppala's like, well, fuck, okay, I guess you're not leaving, but you're still not part of my dog sled team. So then Seppala would go out, take his dog sled team.
Okay, why does every fantasy story starts with, oh, there is some sickness or disabilities this person have. Now watch this person be the best of everything. Completely untouchable. Whether it's like a human or a dog. It's always like, oh, this Togo was sick, but look at him do all this shit now. Then you're gonna make a movie about it one day. The Disney's gonna delete one day.
Training, doing events, and Togo would actually dig his way out of the kennel and run alongside the sled team. And eventually he's like, fuck it, I guess we'll see how good you are as a sled dog. And he ends up being the lead dog. And Seppala said out of all the dogs he ever had, Togo was the absolute best.
I'm going to name him Togo, after the Admiral, an underdog. Named for an underdog. Okay,
fast forward to 1925 with the Nome diphtheria outbreak. Togo is 12 years old at this point in time. Okay, the average sled dog only makes it to 8 years old. Togo is 12 and he is still Seppala's lead dog. Now the serum is already on its way from all the other sled dog teams, and Seppala and Togo are in Nome, Alaska. So they're gonna send out their best guy, which is Seppala, and he's gonna leave to go out and meet the other mushers. And that's on January 28th, 1925. So 2 days after Seppala leaves, Seppala is gonna cover the biggest distance. He has to go 170 miles to the pickup point and start heading back. And 2 days after he leaves on January 30th, another sled dog team is gonna leave and they're gonna meet Seppala. He's gonna hand it off and they're gonna start bringing it back. And then the next day on January 31st, another sled dog team is gonna leave, and that's the one with Balto, and they're gonna pick it up and bring it back to Nome. So Seppala is is doing the bulk of the work. Not only that, but when Sepala leaves, because the clock is ticking, these kids are sick and they're gonna die unless they get this antitoxin, Sepala elects to take a shortcut across the Norton Sound. The Norton Sound is a very small inlet of the Bering Sea that freezes over in winter, but the ice is very thin and it is not stable. It is not safe to go out on this, but the clock is ticking and Sepala's got to save these kids. So on the way there, he crosses the Norton Sound, makes it to the pickup point, picks up the serum, heads back, and he's going to cross the Norton Sound again. And the Norton Sound is absolutely terrifying. It's 25 miles of just straight ice, thin ice that's cracked.
25 miles. Holy shit. Trying to picture the journey and just like thin ice. You can see the reflection of the sky on the ice because it's thin ice. Anything can break anytime. Man, I remember watching Top Gear episode, right, where there's just like, you know that they made, what was it, like combine into this ice clearing machine, but they were constantly checking if the ice is proper or not, and there are these creaking sounds and everything. One moment even the wheel went through. The Top Gear was great at capturing intense situation. So still remember that episode still to this day. It's been a long time. I can really process that here, like every time we go through sled 25 miles and like any moment anything can crack and there you go, everybody goes down.
Cracking and breaking apart underneath him and his dogs the entire time, both times he does it. At one point on the way back with the serum, all of the ice ends up breaking and Sepala and his sled team are literally on a gigantic free-floating piece of ice. And Togo, because he's so intelligent, sees the closest piece of land that he can see and brings the dogs hauling ass across, and they end up leaping and pulling the entire sled with them across open water, lands on land, and then drags the sled with it, saving the entire run, Sepala, the dogs, the kids, everybody. Togo literally saves the day. So during his run, Sepala has to go 170 miles there to pick up the serum, crossing 25 miles of frozen water, comes back, crosses another 25 miles of frozen water, by far and away the most dangerous stretch of the race, and he ends up hitting 90 miles back towards Nome before the next sled team ends up meeting him. That guy starts heading back towards Nome. He rides for about a day, and then Gunnar and Balto meet him, and Gunnar and Balto finish the last 50 miles back into Nome. Okay, just so we're on the same page, Togo and Sepala went 260 miles, Balto and Gunnar went 50, but because Gunnar was the last guy to ride into Nome, he got all of the credit along with Balto, and that's all the newspapers cared about. They gave all of the credit to those two. Okay, do you understand? Do you see why I like this movie now? It's literally a Fat Electrician video, but it's about a dog, and it was a movie made by Disney. Okay, this is my entire MO. That's the only reason I'm popular on the internet. I find an obscure historical figure that contributed greatly and did incredible things and got shafted in the annals of history, and nobody talks about him, and they give all the credit to somebody else that did less. And not only that,
Yeah, it's not just that. He finds obscure thing that shouldn't be obscure, tells people that this shouldn't be obscure, and this tells people like the mainstream media and entertainment is piece of shit. All these great people, all these badasses never goes to Hollywood level, but some things, fictional shit or something that is just completely warped somehow makes into the big box office. Like, okay, all these stories are just there. Why not make that, right? Imagine Saving Private Ryan level shit, but all this like badass Ferguson stories that Ferguson covers into a movie with big budget. This one, like Togo, should we make Togo like insanely smart dog that is like so smart and has an actual ambitions, who didn't take no and actually ran after the guy just so he can make him the like sled dog. That's the level of ambitions human have. Very rare to see any animal exhibited, and this dog did. And all this intelligent shit that he did. Should we make this into massive Disney blockbuster? No. Let's give credit to something completely else. Because newspaper picked that other thing up. Like, really?
even had Togo had a troubled youth where he would get in trouble, ends up being a terrific leader, and then the icing on the cake, it's his last hoorah. He's 12 years old. He's too old to be doing this, and he gets his, old age and treachery moment. The only thing that could make this movie more of a fat electrician video is if Togo had bad eyesight and had to lie on his eye exam to be the lead dog, and he drank too much booze. That's the only thing that could possibly make it better.
See, that's what I said at the start of the video. Why does every Ferguson stories are like this? This is just a right. This should have been the Ferguson story. Only reason it's not military, that's why.
Got one more in you, pup.
And not only that, it kind of fixed the historical record in the common zeitgeist, right? Because that 1995 animated movie made everybody think that Balto did all of this by himself, which he absolutely didn't. And it did it to the degree that even today, as I'm filming this video, if you go to Balto's Wikipedia page, the top line said that Balto was Leonard Seppala's lead dog, which isn't true at all. It was never true. Leonard Seppala bred him and then sold him to somebody else because he was too slow. Leonard Seppala's lead dog was Togo.
Change it. Like, I don't know, nobody can just change Wikipedia nowadays. Like, there are like modders or whatever they're called, right? I don't know, like, tell them, like, report issue. Like, what the hell? Why does Wikipedia screws up at this level, even now? Right? I don't know. Like, after this video, I hope people, like, spams Wikipedia, like, change this shit. What's wrong with you?
For the love of God, somebody please change that on Wikipedia. Okay, so you guys get it. It was a great movie, just on its own merit. And then on top of that, it was fairly historically accurate. There's a couple of things wrong with it, but by and large, it was pretty damn accurate. So why on earth would Disney just get rid of it to the point that it is now illegal to watch it? Apparently, when it comes to movies or films or like digital works of art, if it's not making the money that you wanted it to make, you can apparently just agree to never sell it again, never stream it again, never profit off of it in any way. And if you're willing to do that, you can write the entire thing off on your taxes as a loss.
That's some neat trick.
I should have seen that coming. Oh, I so hate this. This is such a shitty business that I'm surprised that people are not getting pissed off about. This is just point blank. We don't care about you, the viewers. We care about the money, point blank. Disney has a catalog of things. Not everything's gonna make money. But for the people, this is the movie they made. They could have kept it. But no, oh, we are gonna do a tax write-off because that's how law works and screw the. I'm surprised people are like, oh, you know, this is shitty business. Screw you. This is like video game industry nowadays, just point blank saying like, if we put enough, there are people like Gearbox just did that recently, Borderlands people, who basically says that like we don't have to make a polished game. We can just advertise enough and morons will buy it and we don't have to polish the game. We'll worry about the, later. This is literally criminal behavior. Like, this is snakes oilman shit. We're going to dupe enough people so we don't have to worry about the quality of things now we're going to worry about later. How is that not criminal? This is insane. Because of tax write-off?
And that's exactly what Disney did in September of 2024 with like 25 to 30 movies, getting them a $1.5 billion tax break. Okay, do you understand how absolutely insane it is for them to be allowed to take a perfectly good asset and intentionally destroy it just so they get a tax write-off? It shouldn't even be legal. This literally undermines the entire concept of capitalism, okay? And I'm not bashing on capitalism. I'm the most hardcore capitalist you'll find in your entire life. But logically speaking, the entire proposition of capitalism is like, okay, you're an entrepreneur. You're going to take your own money, your own time. You're going to pour your blood, sweat, and tears into this project, your vision, and you're going to create this product, and then you're going to take it to market. And if it goes well, you deserve to make a ton of money because you're the one that footed all of the risk. And that's why we can justify millionaires and billionaires inside of society.
But it belongs to the people. That is also part of capitalism. Capitalism doesn't say it doesn't belong to people. There's a reason why copyright has an expiry date. Certain point, you have your own ownership, you have copyright, but after that it enters public domain. And like I said, how does actors don't have right? Like, this is my work, I pour my soul into this. How can you just delete that just because you own it? Like, you compensated me, great, but like, this is my work, you can't just remove it.
That's the logic, whether you agree with it or not. Okay, but the flip side of that is if you take the risk and pour your blood, sweat, and tears into a project and it doesn't go that great, guess what? Get fucked. You lose money. That's how it's supposed to go. You don't get to destroy the asset and then write the entire thing off.
You're not losing money, really. Like I said, you have a catalog of things. I'm a builder. I build factories and things. In a tender, you have multiple elements there, right? Let's just say plumbing, right? Plumbing related things that are like, bathroom related things, like there's wash basins, there's like, water closets, there's showers, there's taps, right? There's piping and everything. Some of those things is not going to make you money the way you fill out, tender, because you have to win. This is capitalism, right? You have to win the tender. So some of them it's not going to make money, but some of them will. Overall, you make money. Disney, similar thing. You need to appease the customer so they don't see you as an asshole. So you need to let Togo and their money go away so other things also make money, but as a whole catalog, people are happy with you. Think of it like a public service. You do one for the people, so they're happy with you, so they buy your other things. You just showing the people like only thing I care about is money. Why would they buy anything in the future? And then you pull Pikachu face when your other like what was it like this Snow? What was the movie recently with the Gal Gadot and the Rachel Zegler thing? I forgot the Snow White. It was Snow White, right? When shit like that bombs and you pull Pikachu face, people are already pissed off at Disney at this level.
That's complete and utter bullshit.
That's a write-off.
That's a write-off?
Yeah.
Do you even know what a write-off is?
Do you understand how fucked up something has to be for Disney to psyop me into kind of low-key advocating for taxes? It's insane. Okay, and where's the line? Where does this end? I mean, imagine if Sig Sauer, you know, that company that invented the P320, that pistol that allegedly when you drop it, it just fires itself. What if they came out and they were like, hey, we invested millions and millions and millions of dollars in R&D and development of this gun, and we've decided it's not working out that great, so we're just gonna go ahead and never sell it again and write the entire project off.
I'll make that deal.
I own part of Bunker Branding, the company that makes all my shirts and my hats and my merch. I own a part of that company. If I walked into the warehouse in Boerne, Texas, gathered up all the shirts that we had made, hauled them out to the parking lot, threw a Molotov cocktail at it, started a bonfire, and roasted marshmallows, should I be allowed to write all of that off as a loss, or am I just an asshole and an idiot? I'm gonna go with the second one. Okay, that's the gig. That's capitalism.
Okay, wait a minute. What do you mean by tax off? Like, I really need to know like how this works in America. Are you implying that every resources you pour into that movie, all the service tax, you know, like service tax, goods tax, all those tax, right? Like all the item tax, all the people, the labor and everything, that takes service tax basically. All of this tax is not applied anymore because you wrote the tax off. Is that the element there? Because that shit is next level. Like that's your issue, right? If it made money or not, you still did it. It's still liable for service tax. How can you write that off? I'm guessing that's the thing here. This thing is, right? Because I don't think similar thing applies to India like that. Yeah, if you're gonna make something in factory, if you're gonna invest everything, if you're gonna invest labor and everything, all of that goods and service tax gonna apply. If you sell something and the income tax of that or like profit, whatever you make, that's a separate thing. But you still made it. The labor still happened. You still use all the material. How does this tax get write off?
When you win big, and when you lose, guess what? Tough shit, you fucking lost. The end. You don't get to hit backspace and delete history.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, if you would read the entire article, Disney cites that it costs a lot of money to house and curate a large catalog of videos. Okay, look at me. That is a bullshit excuse, okay? How on earth would some electrician from Iowa know that? Because me and my friends got together and started our own streaming platform, pepperbox.tv, and it's got like 73,000 subscribers, and we've got a ton of videos up on there. Guess what? It does not cost that much money to have an extra video sitting on the servers.
YouTube, man, you don't even have to go to all the way there. YouTube, like people put videos on YouTube all the time. Look at the 12-hour streaming video that just records itself after the live stream overs, and there is a 12-hour video now on someone's channel. There are millions of channels. Somebody doesn't even have subscriber, gets view, can have like multi-hour streaming thing. That is not going to make YouTube money. That's not going to make the guy money, but that's still on the YouTube because that's how YouTube works. The fuck you talking about? Disney, the richest of them all, doesn't have a 4-hour streaming space, a 4-hour movie space inside their streaming service. Are you high? There's barely a few GBs. Terabytes are nothing for Disney. They don't have few GBs. That's BS.
And we also make exclusive content just for that platform, just like Disney Plus does. I would never even remotely fathom coming up with an exclusive piece of content, paying to have it made, putting it on my platform, and then it didn't get enough views on my platform, so I then delete it and have it as a tax write-off. It just doesn't even make sense. And if you still don't believe me, look at the platform we're probably on right now, YouTube. Any person on the planet can get on Google, start a YouTube account, upload hundreds of gigabytes worth of video, not get any views, not have their channel monetized, taking up space on Google's servers, and guess what? YouTube's still making a metric fuck ton of money. But on top of that, it gets worse. It gets even more unethical because a significant portion of actors and actresses, when they are agreeing on how they're going to get paid to work, to be an actor and actress in a film, they agree that they're going to get paid part of their salary in royalties. That means every time that video gets a view, they get a little bit of money, and that's how they make their living.
That, and like I said, okay, William Dafoe doesn't need recognition. Fine, I could argue against that as well, but fine. What about other people who basically that was their first movie? Something like that. Maybe there was some small actor there that needed break and this was their break. You're just going to remove that? There is a right of people to be on, on service like that, because it's not just about money. Money is compensation. You're paying these people compensation for their work, but that work also comes with like recognition and screen time. These people are owed screen time. When you remove that, how is it not a legal issue? Only thing I can think of is like William Dafoe and people like that is not going to sue Disney, because that would mean blacklisting from Disney. Why would there is that? So it's just like strong arming people. Like, you're not going to say nothing, I'm going to remove the movie. What you going to do? That kind of thing.
But when Disney comes out and just nukes the movie from existence so nobody can stream it, nobody can buy DVDs, nobody can watch it whatsoever, guess how much money they end up getting paid? Absolutely fucking nothing, even though they put all of the work into it.
But you can't do this to me. You know how much I sacrificed?
Going back to my bunker branding example, if I go into my t-shirt...
That, how much of sacrifice, that's real as well. In Star Wars, Harrison Ford got injured. He broke his ankle in an elevator at his age. He got compensated 25 million plus whatever because it's Star Wars. But William Dafoe is old. You don't know what the level of sacrifice is done just for that scene, thinking maybe this is going to make money or maybe this is going to like give him like recognition at some level. If it doesn't work, great, but he still put his soul into it and risk his physicality at that point. Now, you don't know what he had to do. Right? If it flops, fair enough. But you have to see if it properly flops at the big level. Because movie gets picked up later on as well. So, Disney movies can pick up very later as well. Like, people might, I like this, and could jump up. Especially in streaming service. You hear about in Netflix, you see top 10 global. Sometimes very 2-3 year old things suddenly just popped up there. Right? Something was in CW, jumped to Netflix, and now it's in top 10. 2-3 years after. Something like Arrow and shit. Arrow show was jumped up to, I'm pretty sure it was Arrow. Or something like that. That went to Netflix and just jumped up in top 10 after 2-3 years. Shit like that can happen.
Warehouse, haul all my t-shirts outside, have a bonfire, roast marshmallows over the top of it like an asshole. I don't get to turn around to my employees and be like, sorry guys, I didn't sell any t-shirts. Go fuck yourselves, you're not getting paid. No, it's not how that shit works. Okay, the entrepreneur, the person that's assuming all the risk, has the obligation, morally and ethically, to make sure the employees that work on a project get paid the amount of money that was agreed upon for that work. Okay, that's how capitalism works, and Disney is messing up the entire system. I can't believe how mad I am about this dog movie, okay? And the thing that
anti-capitalist people are bitching about this obvious thing. And yes, capitalism has flaws. This is one of them, right? Capitalism has very many positives, too many positives. But there are negatives, which is this, and this is what anti-capitalist people scream about.
Makes it worse is even if this video goes like super viral and Disney like wants to remake the movie because they realize they fucked up, they're gonna ruin the movie, okay? Because they're gonna go into some Disney board meeting and they're gonna be like, wow, that is an incredible story. Why on earth would we get rid of that movie? We should remake the entire thing. You know what? However, I don't like the notion that there was a white dude with a bunch of purebred Siberian...
Yeah, there you go. Let's have Rachel Ziegler as the woman, and let's have cat instead of dog because it's about inclusivity.
Huskies. What if instead we cast Anne Hathaway to be Leonard Seppala, and then we made Togo be a pug, and then on the dog sled team there was a ferret?
Cat, man. You think cats are not strong enough to pull that sleigh? You think cats are not strong enough? Why can't it be cat?
And a cat and some 14-year-old e-girl that thinks she's a dog. Not only is Disney ruining capitalism, they're disrespecting the memory of Togo, okay? He was 12 years old. He was an old man that ran 260 miles through a snowstorm across a frozen fucking ocean to save a bunch of kids' lives. Then he never got the credit that he deserved for it, and then Kevin Bacon and Steven Spielberg fucked up the common zeitgeist of history, making everybody think that Balto's punk ass did it, and then Disney comes out of left field and they're like, you know what? We're gonna fix the historical record, and then 4 years after that, they nuke that from existence because it doesn't meet the bottom line of Bob Iger's fucking spreadsheet. Okay, all I wanted to do was come home from surgery, sit in my lazy boy, take my pain pills, and watch Leonard Seppala
What surgery?
and Togo save a bunch of kids, but I can't because Disney is trying to fuck up capitalism. And now I gotta go get on eBay and see if I can find an old DVD copy of this movie so it's not lost forever. I guess, thanks for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang.
Go to pirate. Wait a minute, is Pirate Bay even around anymore? I don't know. Some pirate torrent shit. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be there somewhere.
Out. Ooh, 1866, add to cart. That was a weird video. It was like a fat electrician video inside of a Fat Files video. It was like Fatception.
Yeah, seriously, like he's so right about like making that again. Like it would be Anne Hathaway or Rachel Zegler with cats as instead of dogs, because apparently woke means throwing out common sense, right? Great scientists once said, "Get your science right and then distort it at your leisure." Why do that when we have tunnel vision and only thing is the political idea has to be there, whether it makes sense or not? Screw the common sense. And people are going to be fine with it. Of course, people are going to be pissed off. And if people are pissed off, we'll just call them racist and fascist. There you go. Well, there was a movie Disney deleted, Togo. I thought it was going to be some movie from 1930s, but no. It's a recent one with Willem Dafoe. This pissed me off. This is bullshit, man. I didn't know Disney can just. I didn't know the tax write-offs work like that. Senate needs to think about this. Like this tax write-off is not a right thing. All right. I'll see you next time.